My name's Daniel. I've never told this story before. Not to my friends, not to my family, not even to the police. Because the moment I try to explain what happened, I sound insane. But everything I'm about to say happened. It started when I moved into a small rental house in rural Virginia. I've been working remotely, doing software contracts for a firm in Washington, D.C., and I wanted some peace. I found this old place, a one-story home with peeling white paint, surrounded by tall oak trees that blocked most of the sun. The owner was an older woman named Mrs. Carlyle. She barely looked at me when I signed the lease. She just said, "Don't open the locked room." I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. There was a single door in the hallway that had an old iron padlock on it. She said it was just a storage room full of junk. I didn't think much of it. For the first few weeks, I worked during the day, watched TV at night, and slept without any issues. But then the knocking started. It was subtle at first, a faint tapping sound, always around 2:45 in the morning. I thought maybe it was tree branches hitting the house, but every night it came from the same place, the wall shared with the locked room.
3 soft knocks. Pause. Then 2 more. It happened again the next night, and the one after that. I started to record the sound on my phone, but every time I did, the microphone picked up nothing but silence. The house was quiet. Too quiet. One morning, after another sleepless night, I decided to ask Mrs. Carlyle about it. When I called her, she didn't even let me finish. She just said, "You didn't open the room, did you?" I told her no, but I could hear panic in her breathing. Then she said, "Good. Don't ever touch that lock, no matter what you hear. It's not trying to scare you. It's trying to get out." And she hung up. That night, I moved my bed into the living room, but around 2:45, the knocks began again. 3 slow knocks, too fast. It felt almost like a rhythm, like it wanted me to respond. So I did something stupid. I knocked back. The sound stopped instantly. I waited, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it. Then, from the other side of the wall, something scraped. A long, dragging sound like nails pulling across wood. After that, everything changed. I'd find the lights flickering even when the power was fine. My phone would vibrate in the middle of the night, but when I looked, no notifications, no missed calls, just the screen lighting up, showing the time, 2:45 a.m. A week later, I woke up to find the hallway light on and the padlock on the locked room hanging open. I swear I hadn't touched it.
The door itself was slightly ajar, just a few inches, enough to see the darkness inside. Every instinct told me not to look, but curiosity, or maybe something else, pulled me forward. I pushed the door open and turned on my phone's flashlight. The room was empty. Bare floorboards, no furniture, just a smell, old wood, mold, and something metallic. Then I saw the carvings on the far wall. They weren't words. They were tall, thin scratches, hundreds of them, layered over each other, all about the same height as a person's head. Like someone had been standing there for years, dragging their nails until the walls bled splinters. And then I noticed something else. A small hole in the wall, about the size of a coin, directly across from where I'd been sleeping before I moved my bed. It wasn't just any hole. It was a peephole. Someone, or something, had been watching me sleep. I stumbled back, slamming the door shut, locking it again with shaking hands. I didn't sleep at all that night. By morning, I decided to leave. I didn't even want my deposit back. I just wanted to go. But before I could, Mrs. Carlyle showed up at my door. She looked pale, exhausted, like she hadn't slept in years. She didn't even greet me. She just said, "You opened it, didn't you?" When I nodded, she closed her eyes and whispered, "Then you need to come with me." She led me outside, around the back of the house, to a section of the foundation covered with old plywood. She tore it off with her bare hands, revealing what looked like an old basement window that had been sealed shut. She said, "Look."
Inside the darkness, I saw movement. A shadow, human-shaped, but wrong. Too thin, too tall. It pressed against the window from the inside, and I could see the outline of fingers dragging across the glass. Mrs. Carlyle said, "My husband built this room for our daughter. She couldn't stand sunlight. Said it hurt her skin, her eyes, her head. Doctors called it a sensitivity disorder, but it was more than that. She swallowed hard. She started saying she could see people inside the walls, that they whispered to her, told her to stay hidden. We tried to get her help, but one day she just stopped coming out." Her voice cracked. "We sealed the room to keep her safe, but she's still there. Not alive, not gone either." The shadow moved again, closer now, pressing its head against the window. I could see its mouth moving, not words, but a sound I felt in my bones, like a low hum vibrating through the ground. Mrs. Carlyle whispered, "It doesn't like when someone sleeps in her spot." I ran. I didn't pack. I didn't even lock the door behind me. I drove until I ran out of gas, and I never went back. That was 4 months ago. Now, every night at 2:45 a.m., no matter where I sleep, hotel, friend's couch, even when I flew to California for work, I wake up to the same sound. 3 knocks, pause, 2 more. Sometimes I think I see movement in dark corners, a reflection in a window that disappears when I blink. Sometimes I hear breathing when I lie still. I changed my phone number, my job, everything. But last week I got a new package at my apartment in Los Angeles. No return address, just a small cardboard box. Inside it was a rusted iron padlock, the same one from that door. And on the inside flap of the box, written in messy handwriting, it said, "You shouldn't have moved the bed."